Good morning. My name's Paul Church from Clarity Craft here in the UK. Welcome to another episode of Groovi Tuesday. I hope everyone's doing okay today. I know we've got some extreme weather north of Kent here in the UK. Temperatures definitely dropped. I see we've got some friends in the room already. Karen, good morning. Clive. Karen wants some snow. Goodness me. Whereabouts in the country are you, Karen? I've got a feeling you're down south, maybe on the south coast, possibly. Yeah, should we start off with a weather report? Good morning, Mo. I think many of our friends north of London will be having some snow according to the weather forecast. Good morning, Julie. The lovely Sue will be with us shortly. So if you've got any questions, she's there to help. And Sue said, all good. Thank you, Sue. So, yeah, and I'm sure some of our lovely design team will be in the room as well. So, good evening, Debbie from Australia. Good evening, 8 p.m. Goodness me. I bet there's no snow in Australia, is there? Good morning, Richard. Here we go. Everyone's coming in now. Lovely Josie, Humberta. Greetings, Rhode Island. What time is it in Rhode Island, Humberta? See, international. Jane's in the room. There we go. It's thick in Wrexham, North Wales, and still snowing. Snowy Maidenhead. Yes, there's definitely, it's definitely in the air. It's a little bit icy. They reckon today will get colder down here in Kent. But I don't think we're due to get any snow. I think it's going to stay, say, north of London. So, yeah. Jane said it's a bit snowy. It's 5 a.m. in Rhode Island. Goodness me. Late night or early start? Snowing in Oxford. Good morning, Ken. That's right. Karen's in Shoreham on the south coast. Yeah, I don't think we're due to get any snow. As I say, I think it's meant to stay north of London, which is a good thing. A little bit too early for snow. Maybe sort of Christmas Day. That would be early enough. Had some in High Wycombe. Wow. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you've been joining in to our Clarity Social TV episodes every week, 10 and 2 on Monday, 10 and 2 on Tuesday, and 10 and 2 on Fridays. And then not forgetting the Shack on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. as well. So just a sort of a little, we're just sort of adding bits and pieces. We're changing things as we go along to keep everybody company. So 10 a.m. on Monday is always the Shack, and then 2 o'clock is Clarity Social TV. 10 a.m. on a Tuesday is Groovi Tuesday, and 2 o'clock I've got some lovely new designs from Linda Williams to share with you today. I'll give you a sneaky peek on those, but I know some of you have already found them on the website. Then Thursday evening in the Shack with Barb, so we're continuing with the letter N and the Nativity. And then on Friday, we're back with you at 10 and 2 with something special. We've got some stamps, we've got some new dies, and something literally. See, that's one of the great things, I think, with Clarity. Barb had an idea last night, stroke this morning, and the prototypes are being made as we speak. And no doubt by the end of the day, it will be in production, ready for launching on Friday. So you may even get a little sneaky peek on Thursday evening in the Shack. So yes. Oh, it's wet in Peterborough. Yes, it's a real mix, isn't it, this weather? So as I say, the lovely Sue's in the room. If you've got any questions, she's there to help. Maybe you're looking for something, then that's the way to go. You can, obviously we've got the website just there. But we'll have a look, talk about that a little bit later. So what have we been doing the past few weeks? Well, we've been looking at, it started off this journey to do with Josie's circular grids. So if you're looking to create beautiful lacework with ease, then the circular grids are definitely a way to get started. And then once we'd completed that, we needed something to go in the middle. So I took my inspiration from some artwork. Let's bring in some artwork. This is a piece of artwork from Carol Baker. So Carol has chosen one of Josie's circular grids around the outside, and then Linda's lovely snowy owl, or snowflake owl. Let's have a look at this owl, because he's definitely got some character. He, she, definitely got some character. This one here has got a lovely little heart in it. This one's from, I think this is a Jilly one. Yeah, this is from Jilly. Then we have one from Sheila Gray. We have another one from Sheila. So in a way, he's not really, he could just be a wintry owl, couldn't he? This one from Jilly, little snowflakes there. Another one from Jilly. And then this is where we're sort of heading towards. This is a piece of artwork created by Linda Williams. And the focus of the past few weeks, and this week as well, is that lovely feathery look and how we can achieve that. Okay, so if maybe you're tuning in for the first time, this is how the plate comes, just traced out exactly. So if you're looking for an instant piece of artwork, then trace it out. But you've got layers. You could ignore this one. If you wanted something smaller, you could just take the centerpiece of the owl. So it's all about having choices, isn't it? So this is where we're heading. Well, we're heading sort of here, but this is what the plate looks like. And maybe you're tuning in for the first time thinking, oh, I like the look of this little owl. I haven't seen him before. Then the item number for that is 41571. Okay. So if I bring the plate in, just show you. So I'm using the plate mate from the starter kit. This is the plate. No different to the traced out element. And when we're working with the Groovi, we always need to be able to read the word Groovi the right way round, because we're working on the back of the plate and the back of our parchment. So because we're working with the circular grids, I took our Pico dies and die cut the circle to fit within my frame that we'd created. And this one here, let's have a look at the grids from Josie. So there's 4 different grids in the latest release of the circular grids, and these were based on a diagonal grid pattern. So this area here, the lighter area, has been drilled. So there's no counting, you just perforate and then you infill with the embossed part. Each of the plates come with a picture of what it looks like, and then your cutting guide and instructions from Josie. And each of these have different patterns, obviously different cutting guides. That's what it looks like when it's completely traced out. That's just seems weird. There we go. That shape looked odd on its side. Then moving on, we then have courage, more open area on this one. That's what it looks like. So it's great that you get a colored image so you can see what it should look like when it's finished. And then your cutting guide on the back. And there's I'll turn those around. There we go, that one there. Then the third one in the collection is strength. Finished picture. Cutting guide. And then so you get a centerpiece. So these would be great for little tags as well. And then the final one, which was the one that I went for, this was peace. Finished picture. cutting out, and we worked through this. So you can go back to previous episodes of Groovi Tuesday, where we started on this journey, and then you'll be able to follow that through step by step with lots of tips and tricks throughout there. And people were asking questions as well. If you belong to Facebook, then you could join Groovi Worldwide and Clarity Worldwide, where the design team are always there to help as well. So I've got my finished piece, and now we're looking at creating. And because I've pico cut on the inner part, what happens is that this is going to sit inside. Okay. So I'm going to put these safely to one side, and then we'll have a little bit of a recap on what we looked at last week. Because with this Mr. Owl or Mrs. Owl, I've traced it out again to work on it correctly. I say correctly, it wasn't incorrectly last week, but what we did was we looked at a comparison by using the shader tools and the Groovi tools. Because many of our friends at home have only just recently joined the Groovi train or the Groovi bus and may just have the Groovi wooden tools that come in the starter kit. So you can achieve that result as well, but for me, the shader tools were a real sort of game changer when it came to doing this lovely soft effect. Okay. Last week, we also looked at, did you want to use your black mat that comes in the starter kit, and where we can add a barrier or a bit of a resist with a cello bag. And we also looked at that on Friday during the Clarity Social TV episodes. But for me, my safety net when it comes to doing the white work is the Pergamano pink mat. And I know many of you at home sort of enjoy using that. So what's this pink mat, I hear you say? It is this here. Okay, so it's great if you're heavy-handed, if you're light-handed. You can also use it on your light panel as well, because the light illuminates from underneath. So depending on the environment you're working in, then you can definitely use that on there as well. Who's finished their snowy owl? I bet some of you have finished, haven't you? So Lane says she's only got the wooden ones, so that's fine. Learn with those first, and then when budget allows, then the shader tools are really a good way to go forward. Let me show you the shader. I've got them here behind me. Let me just bring those in. If you're thinking, what are the shader tools? So if we have a look on the overhead. So we've got a set of 3. Item number on that is 70457. You can buy them all individually. Now, when we bought Pergamano, this one here didn't exist. It had been discontinued by the previous owners. And now that we manufacture back here in the UK, and due to popular demand, we've reintroduced the 0.8mm. Okay. Now, if you can only go for one, then I go for the one in the middle. And the item number for that one is 70002. And that's the item numbers for all of those individually if you want to. Debbie, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the pink mat, or are you waiting for the shader tools, or are you waiting for both? Okay, so these are the shader tools, and this is what I'm going to be working with as the next part of this demo. So I'm going to bring in my, wait, he's flown away. Where's he gone? There he is. Okay, so let's just pop these back up on the shelf so I know where to find them. Okay. Right. Are we good to go? Has anybody, I haven't seen anybody say that they've finished their little owl. Have they finished their project yet? Or have you not started? Are you waiting for it to be completely finished to get going? Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to be working on the back of our parchment. I've got my Groovi guard and all my Groovi tabs. Good place to store your Groovi tabs so you don't lose them. And then I'm going to be working with, say, the shader tools. Definitely need my glasses. I'm going to, before I put my glasses on, I'm going to stand up and just zoom in a little bit. So let's see if I can go the right way on this one. 50-50 chance. Yes. There we go. Okay. Right. And breathe. See, if you've got snow, you really don't want to be going out in it, do you, today? You definitely need to stay in and get crafty, and obviously come back at 2 o'clock for another episode of our social TV as well. But I'll give you a little sneaky peek on that a little bit later. So to start off with, I'm going to be using the medium side, the 1 mil. Okay, let's just check I've got the right one. 3 different sizes. Yeah, go for the one in the middle. Put my glasses on. And what we're going to do first, we're just going to put like an undercoat down. Now, which way do you hold the tool? Do you use it in the spoon position, like so, with the curve going up? It's like a paper clip, isn't it? Or do you go with it down into the fork position? Which way do you use it? Spoon or fork? I'm going to go with the spoon position, and I like to draw the tool towards me. So Groovi guard, because we're working on a smaller piece, it also helps hold it in place. And I'll start off with the larger area first. And all we're doing, I'm starting at the tip of the feather. I reckon I could probably come in a little bit closely. Pat uses it every way. Do you now, Pat? Okay, let's have a look. Whee, there we go. Okay. Sue uses it in the spoon position. Okay. Are we ready? So what we're going to do now is I'm starting at the tip of the feather, and I'm going to draw the tool in the angle of that feather. So just gentle pressure. We're just gently stroking the parchment, like so. And remember, we traced out the feathers with the number 3 tool. Okay. So we're going to put some there, and then we're going to come in over this side, because what I want to do is like leave a bit of an area in the middle. Move on to the next one. So it's all about sort of, you have to learn. I had to learn to accept the fact when you're doing white work, in order to achieve the right result, then you need to go nice and steady, and you just let it rest between each of the layers. Okay, so very, very lightly, and I'm just, see, for me, with the shader tool, because I've got that swivability, is that a word? I reckon that could be a word, swivability. And I can see through the paperclip as well. For me personally, I find I've got more control. So we're just going to go on, and we're going to build it up layer by layer. Okay. So that's the first half of him done, like so. Turn it over to the front, and then we'll turn it back over. So go with the curve of the feather, like so. Lots of chat going on this morning. So, and what you'll also notice, I'm not going right to the top of the feather. I'm sort of stopping about 3/4 of the way. And we're going to go along, like so. I don't know why I'm holding my breath. Excuse me. So yes, there's lots going on at Clarity Towers with social TV. We have Clarity Matters blog. We've got Barbara's blog. We've got emails going out telling you what's coming up. Yeah. And so this afternoon we're back with you on Clarity Social TV. And then Thursday evening it's back in the shack. And then Friday 10 and 2 with you again. Okay, now on his little tootsies, or his little toes, we're going to have a look at what Linda's done. Linda's taken from the top down. So I'm going to do exactly the same. So just at the top of the toes, like that, just a little undercoat. Keep his little tootsies warm. And then let's have a look. Let's have a look at the bobble. So for the bobble, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover the whole bobble with an undercoat. So let me go to the larger one. And I'm just going to start from top to bottom and going all the way across. Okay. And then on the his fluffy brim of his hat, I'm going to start from the outside and just come inwards. I'm not coming all the way in. I think last week Linus was saying that the shader tools were quite forgiving. So if you're new to doing the white work, I think that was what you said like last week, wasn't it, Glynis? If you're looking to start out on your white work and you find that you're not sort of getting it exactly as you would hope, then this is where the shader tools may help. I suppose just like me with the pink mat. So I'm turning the owl around as I work. Okay, because it's easier to turn my work than it is to try and turn my hand. Okay. And I reckon in his fluffy hat, is Maggie Craner in the room? I know Maggie Craner loves a bit of stippling. I think we can add some stippling to the bauble, or his bobble, not his bauble, his bobble, and into the fluffy part of the hat as well. Okay, so let's have a look. So we can see now how we're just, see, I mean, it's starting to, there's definitely a difference between this area here and the outer part, isn't there? So Glynis said, yes, the shader tools are forgiving, just don't press too hard. I don't know what you mean, Glynis, press too hard. I think with for me, the shader tools, because I can see through the tool itself, as opposed to when you're using, I know Linda Williams's best friend is the number 6 ball tool. Okay, a question for you traditional parchers out there that have been doing it for many, many years. This, which came first? Was it the ball tools? And I'm guessing the ball tools, the smaller sizes, probably came first. And then I'm guessing the shader tools came afterwards. Because there's various different size Pergamano ball tools. Did the 6 one come about? Did the 6mm ball tool come about before the shader tool? Can anybody remember that far back? Right, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which came first, 6mm or the shader tools? Ball tools. Being bombarded with replies, ball tools. And did the 6mm ball tool exist before the shader tools? What was the biggest ball tool before the shaders came about? I'm guessing it probably was, the 6mm probably did exist before the shader tools came about. Yeah, Glynis said yes, the 6mm before the shader tools. 6mm first. So, yeah. It is what came first, the chicken or the egg? Which came first, the ball tools or the shader? Okay, so let's turn on to the back again and let's add another layer. So I started over on this wing first, so let's go back on there. Now ideally you would let that rest longer than what I have, but I need to go back to my 1mm, my medium size ball tool, and let's just go back on again. Okay. Now, for those of you that are fairly new to Groovi, and you're thinking, I could never achieve the white work. I had that same thought many years ago. And as I said at the beginning, we just need to retrain our minds to accept that the white work does take longer. And I think because we can achieve the line art so easily with a Groovi plate and quite quickly if we want to do it quickly, I know I had that expectation at the beginning, and if I can do the line art that quickly, why can't I do the white work that quickly? But over the years, I've come to realize that it takes time. It really, really does. And many of our friends at home have what's the word? Various different projects on the go. So who's got several projects on the go? So Christine, traditional parcher, she was taught by a Pergamano tutor and was taught with the ball tools first and then introduced to the shader tools later. So Chrissy, which do you prefer? Do you prefer the ball tools or do you prefer the shader tools? Because for me, I didn't have, before we owned Pergamano, obviously we had the Groovi wooden tools, and we were aware, obviously, of the Pergamano tools, and we used to stock a small selection of them. And I then, we mentioned this the other day, when we then had the opportunity to buy Pergamano, and we got samples of all these, I can still see it. I can see it in my head. In Barbara's studio above the garage, we've got all these tools. I'm thinking, what do you do with this? What do you do with that? And especially the multi-needle tools. We were just like stabbing the parchment. Oh, it makes holes. I suppose, yeah, because they were brand new to us, we didn't know what to do. But it's great that we have many friends that have been doing it for a while, like Linda Williams, Josie Davidson, Glynis, that share their knowledge with us, which in turn then allows us here at Clarity headquarters to share it with you at home, in the comfort of your home. Okay, so still on the medium tool, and you can see how it's starting to build up in depth of whiteness. Jane says she's got a couple of projects on the go. Richard's got a couple of bits, including paintings on the go. See, multi-talented. Okay. I think this is one of the, with the Groovi system and Parchment generally, it's quite portable, isn't it? So if you're going on a long journey, if you've got appointments where you know you're going to be hanging around a long time, then it doesn't take much to put a few things into a bag and take it with you. Because it definitely does make time disappear, doesn't it? You sort of, once you get into it and you start working on something, before you know it, it's time to go to bed. So you can just build up. Okay, so let's move over. Let's have a look at a comparison of the two wings now. Okay, definitely coming together now. And you can see here where I've left a gap between the lines. So it gives that sort of light and dark effect. Pauline's moving house, so all of her crafting is packed away. Oh no. Goodness. You should have kept some out just to keep you occupied as a distraction. Okay. So slightly on the turn, on the curve, as I go into the smaller areas of the feathers. But by using the number 3 tool to trace out the feathers, you can see that it blends into the line art more naturally. What's Jill up to? Jill is making, where's it gone? Christmas box cards for the village market on Saturday while waiting for news of first grandchild's arrival. How wonderful. Now, the lovely Jill at the open days very kindly made me a chocolate cake. And Jill, I can tell you, what day did you come? I think you came on the Saturday, I think it was. Was it Saturday? Yes, it was, because it was all gone by Sunday evening. That's all I'm saying. And my other half, he said, oh, that cake looks nice. I went, oh, no, you won't like it. He doesn't normally eat chocolate cake. I went, no, you won't like it. So he said, oh, no, I need to try it. I went, no, you don't need to try it. And he took a quarter of it. A quarter of chocolate cake. So I had 3/4 of it and it didn't touch the sides. So thank you very much for that. Roll on the next open days. It was very yummy. Yeah, the open days seem such like a long time ago, don't they? But it wasn't that long ago. So now we're going to go back into the fluffy bauble. Why do I keep calling it bauble? Bobble. It's definitely a bobble and not a bauble. I'm going to just take the Groovi guard away for a moment, just because it's a a smaller area. How are we doing for time? Yeah, loads of time. Right, okay. So now we're going to go and put another layer on the trim of his hat. So we're going to start at the top again. We're going to bring that in like so. So when I did the first layer, I used the larger ball tool. But because I've got the medium one in my hand, we're just going to stick with that one. And I'm just drawing it in inwards. And what that's also doing, because I'm doing each of the rises individually, it's starting to give it a little bit of shape as well. I don't know if you can sort of see that. Yeah, it's certainly starting to look fluffy, isn't it? Carol says, I can turn the bobble into a bauble. I could. Bobble and bauble. Definitely. And I'm leaving, I don't know, you can see, yeah, you can. I'm leaving the sort of the center to create that effect as well. Okay, so let's have a look. There we go. There's a little snowy owl, snowflake owl starting to come together. So let's let that rest for a minute and let me share with you what's coming up at 2 o'clock. Okay, so we've got some brand new plates designed by Linda Williams. Okay, so it's a set of 2 A5 square and 2 A6 square. Press the wrong button. There we go. So across the top, you can see we've got the 2 little baby plates. So the first one, the one on your left, is Linda's mini flower sampler. Then, so I'm trying to multitask and zoom out on the overhead at the same time. Then the next one to that is the mini C for Christmas. Now that open space would work lovely if you took those basic grids that we launched last week and infilled with patterns as well. And then across the bottom, we then have Linda's lacy frilly frames. So we've got squares and we've got circles. Okay, so let's have a look. If I come in on the overhead, let's see if I've got that in the right position. Okay, all available individually, available in pairs as well, but there is a full collection. So if you wanted to go for all of those, let me come on to the overhead now. So if you wanted to go for the complete collection, so you've got your circles, your squares, your C's for Christmas, and your little flower sampler, the item number for that is 42405. So you can jump ahead before 2 o'clock. If you want to go for the squares, so the square comes with the mini floral sampler. The item number for that is 42404. If you want to go for the circle duo, which comes with that C is for Christmas, then the item number for that is 42403. And then individually, we have all the item codes there. But if you go to the Clarity website, excuse me, and you go to what's new, then you'll be able to find those straight away. Okay, so that's what's coming up at 2 o'clock with Barb and myself. Okay, and I know some of you found them already this morning. I'm sure you check out what's new on a regular basis on that section of the website, because I think I'd made them active this morning, and I think somebody came in, it was about 7 o'clock this morning, and placed an order, and I thought, someone's been having a look around the website. Ken said he wouldn't dream of jumping ahead before the 2 o'clock show. But at least you could, in between times, if you're looking for something to do, obviously you can place your order at that point. And then going forward, so when we finish with this lovely Snowflake owl, we mentioned last week that I'd be from December, so that'll be the 3rd of December, which is not next week, the week after. Obviously, Christmas, I wouldn't say it's done and dusted, but many of you would have already done all your Christmas cards and everything else. So what we thought we would do, we'd have a look at Jazz's samplers that we launched last week. So there was 2 different plates in the collection. There was the Rosy A4 sampler and the Festive sampler. So I'm going to start working on this one. This is the Rosy sampler, and the item number is that for that one is 42. Look, if I bring this in, you can go for the bundle, which is 42401 when you get both of them. If you just want Rosy, 42396. If you just want Festive, 42395. And I'm going to be using this plate in conjunction with the Guide to Grid Work by Linda Williams. If you want the book on its own, the item number is 31723. If you want the bundle, which is the book and the 2 mini basic bold grid plates, the item number for that is 21224. And if you go to our website, let me just have a look. Let me bring it in on the iPad, because if many of our friends are new, then you're thinking, well, where do I find it? So on our website, if I just fire up the iPad, let's have a look. No, I don't want, I want to open. Open. Let's go home. Let's go home. No, let's go home to the front page of the website. Let's just give that a chance to load up. And it's very easy to find. Come on, internet. There we go. So let me zoom in a little bit. But see this button up here. It says Clarity TV. Let me just. Okay. Oh, zoom in. Question from Karen. Is the C for Christmas the same as the floral alphabet C, or is it with Christmas flowers? It is with, I would say, winter foliage. Yeah, if I bring this in, there we go. You can see, it is different to the one that's in Linda's floral alphabet. Okay, you've got like Christmas roses in there, but it's also quite wintry as well. So not necessary. C is for clarity. C is for Colin. C is for cake. So if you, I digress there, sorry, cake. So if you go to the Clarity TV, you can click on just here. Look, the plates are already loaded for the 2 o'clock show. Linda Williams calendar. That's a must-have. That's a lovely little stocking filler for next year. You can see everything that we'll be using. There is the book with the grids, the book on its own. But if I go back up to the top and click here where it says, so we've already got the demos that I'm going to be sharing with you that you can download at 2 o'clock. Then we have yesterday's TV show. So you can download the projects that Barbara shared with us yesterday at 2 o'clock. And if you go to shop the show, it goes back and shows everything that was used. The lattice has gone. We only had a handful of those lattice dies. Someone was lucky getting those. Okay, so that's just a way of finding out for the previous shows. Go back home. And then, oh look, if you want to watch, maybe you're not into Facebook and YouTube and you just want to watch. You can go to the front of our website, and then this broadcasts live, just like so. There's a little time delay on there. That's weird, isn't it? A picture within a picture within a picture. C is for chocolate. So yeah, so that's how you can watch and see what we're up to as well. Now, if we've got any new friends in the room, another good thing to do when you're on the website is Clarity newsletter. Okay, if you click there and for regular updates from Clarity on TV, YouTube offers, events and more, why not sign up today? It's free and easy and you can unsubscribe anytime. So you just put your details in there as well, and then every time something's happening here at Clarity headquarters, you'll get an email telling you all about it. So that's something really useful if you're new. And then what it does is it just keeps you informed. So maybe you're into your stamping or to your Groovi or into your stenciling. Maybe you like it all, because I know many of our friends at home really do cross over between the different types of crafting. So it's a good way to find out what's coming up, if we've got any special offers happening. Yeah, it's just a way of just keeping up to date of what's going on. So I thought I'd share that with you as well. Okay, I think our little Snowy Owl has rested, so let's bring him back in. Okay, so let's have a look. Oh, he looks a little bit curled up. And the reason for that is because I'm going in a little bit quicker than I would normally for his layers of white work, and my hands are quite warm. So even though I'm using the Groovi Guard, so the Groovi Guard definitely makes a difference when you're working on it. Because I've cut it out of the Pico die, it just allows me to hold the parchment more easily whilst I'm working. Okay. Right, let's have a look. Glasses on. So another layer. So we're starting with the wing over here first. And I'm going to stick with the medium, the 1mm tool. And let's go back on again with another layer. Now, if you don't have the pink mat and you only have the black mat in the starter kit, I saw that Glynis mentioned earlier that you can still, if you're worried about going on too heavy, then you take your black mat, which is hard on one side and squidgy on the other side, and then what you do is you take a cello bag that would come, one of your Groovi plates has come in, that goes on, so you've got your black mat, your cello bag, then your parchment, and what that does is it resists the pressure. It's not, you can still go through it if you put too much pressure on, but it definitely does help. And I wish I'd known about that when I first started doing white work on the black mat. Okay, so that's another way of doing that. Okay, so back in with the medium shader tool. And this time I'm not coming up as far. I'm staying at probably half of the feather. Okay, like so. And I'm still going on the curve of the feather as well. Okay, so Lynn said, another quick pop in. My surprise win of the Christmas parchment was waiting for me when I got home Saturday. Thank you. You're more than welcome. Thank you for taking part. I'd probably put it in a frame because that was the last pack in the building. So I think there was 5 sheets of each, wasn't it? I think there was 5 red, green, black, and silver. I'd probably just use 4 of them, 4 of each one, and keep one. Okay. Yes, definitely starting. It looks weird because he's upside down, but turn him round in a minute. Okay. All right, so that's the first one. Now we can move over to the next one. My watch does make me laugh sometimes. It's now telling me I need to stand up. I've obviously been sitting down far too long. Not even an hour. And I have stood up a couple of times. Okay. So slowly intensifying the whiteness on our little feathers. And if you think, oh, I'm not sure how far I need to go, you can stop at this point if you wanted to. So this is like 3 layers of white work. And you could, if you wanted to, use a white pencil. But we're not going to. We're going to stick with the shader tools at this point. Okay, now we're going to turn it around because we're following the same direction. Now for his little tootsies, I'm going to go in with the smallest one now. I'm going to go in with the 0.8, like so. Okay. And I'm just concentrating. So I'm not coming down. You can see the difference. I'm just sticking to the top of his little toes. Now we're going to move on to the bobble. I had to think about that. Oh dear. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this. I'm going to take each little bounce and I'm using the smallest tool, like I did on the trim, just to come inwards, like so. Go up into the middle a bit. Not too high. There we go. So we're now drawing it in, just to give it a little bit of shape. But we'll definitely be, I haven't seen Maggie in the room, so maybe maybe she's gone for a lay down because I've mentioned stippling. Okay. But I reckon we'll definitely do some stippling in the bobble, in the bobble, and in the hat as well, to add a little bit of texture. So we're going to start at the bottom again. And we're still working our way in, trying to stay away from the middle part, just like so. And by leaving, I don't know if you can see it, leaving a little bit of a gap, see where it peaks down? If I leave a little bit of a gap, it sort of creates the illusion of texture. And this is very similar to, you know, when you're colouring in the shack with Barb and you create that sort of light and dark effect. We're just doing exactly the same, but on parchment. Doing it with a pencil is a lot easier than with parchment, because once it's done, you can't take it away, even with the magic of an eraser pencil. Can you? And if you're not sure, practice on a piece first. Practice to see the different effects you get. How much pressure do you need to apply? Okay. But now this is where the smaller ball tool, the smaller shader tool starts. So you can see how now it doesn't look flat. Does that make sense? It's got it's got some movement to it. If I bring in, let's have a look, I'll bring it up close on the overhead. Hang on, get the black mat. Ooh, where are we going? There we go. So you can see it's now starting to look more dimensional, and it's still flat. It's not, because we're taking it slowly, it's not starting to go, I mean, sometimes unintentionally we get that fluffy cotton wool look because we've gone on too heavy. But we don't want to create that by rushing it. We want to create it naturally. And by doing that, we're going to build up the layers of the white work, then add some stippling. And then if needs be, if we need it a little bit brighter for the whiteness, then we can bring in the pergolina B pencils to intensify that whiteness as well, because we can use those with the dorso oil to blend in so it looks more softer on the background. So I reckon we've got time for one more little layer. And also, you could also use, if you find that you're still putting too much pressure on your pink mat, you can also use the cello bag on there as well. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to go back to, actually, I'm going to go with the small one now. Where's my Groovi guard? Groovi guard on there. Like so. Yeah, look, it's starting to come together now, isn't it? And if you think, oh, I need a little bit more whiteness, just go back over with the medium one and just add a little bit more. Okay. So we're going to go there. So I reckon, so what is it next week? Next week we will finish our Snowflake owl. And then the following week, which takes us into the 3rd of December, we'll start looking at Jazz's Rosy sampler. And it's a great plate for learning techniques. So even if you're brand new to Groovi, then that'd be a fantastic plate to add to your collection, because we can look at colouring on them. And because they're smaller sort of bite-sized pieces, we can look at colouring. We can look at using that guide to grid work from Linda Williams. We can have a look at white work, because there's some lovely lilies on that plate as well. I think it's on the, we'll have a look in a minute. Lilies on there to do some white work, just like we are here. Ooh, sorry. Just like we are on this one. But doing it on a flower is completely different to doing it on some feathers. This one definitely needs a little bit more there. There we go. Speeding it up now. So I hope you've enjoyed this morning's session. Hopefully you'll be joining Barbara and myself at 2 o'clock today to put those new plates from Linda Williams through their paces, because they're not what they seem, so to speak. I mean, a frame is always lovely, and Barb was showing that yesterday during the 2 o'clock show with the doodle dies and the embedders. So decorative frames can definitely make a difference to your artwork. Okay, let's finish off on the bobble. I'm going to leave the fluffy trim until next week because I think I just need to let that one rest a little bit. Okay. So thank you to Sue for helping out. I'm sure she's still in the room. For Sue for helping out. And as always, the design team. So let's have a look. There we go. It looks like a bobble now, doesn't it? So thanks for your company. Be back at 2 o'clock today, then Thursday in the shack at 7, and then another brand new launch on Friday at 10 and 2. Then next week, again, Monday, 10 and 2, Tuesday, 10 and 2, Wednesday of next week, we're at 10 and 2, and then also on Friday at 10 and 2. So enjoy the rest of your day until 2 o'clock. Got a few hours to have something to eat, carry on working with your Snowflake owl from Linda Williams, and I will see